Today we're going to be diving into a bit more Diablo 4, and what we're going to be looking at is some amazing interactions that you can put in place with your skill nodes, both passive and active, as well as a few aspects that can really help you out for the Barbarian class. If that interests you, stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're jumping back into Diablo 4 and we're going to be looking at some things that you can put together in your skill tree in order to really enhance your build for the Barbarian class. If you're missing certain things such as healing, fury, berserk, then this guide here should be able to give you a few quick tips and some skills and aspects you may well want to invest in. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is how you can grab yourself a lot of thorns in order to make your life very easy as you progress through the campaign, or just make it so you don't have to worry quite so much about those mobs of enemies because they're pretty much going to defeat themselves when you start speccing into your tree like this. If you are going for a thorns build, then I would highly recommend Flay. That can really help you out, especially when you get to the last node, which is going to be combat Flay, as now it's going to mean whenever you deal direct damage to an enemy, you're not only going to gain 3 times damage reduction, but you're also going to get a set amount of thorns for 3 seconds, and this is going to stack up to 4 times. Jumping down to your defensive skills, and you're going to want to pick up challenging shout. Not only is this going to pretty much taunt or aggro everything in the area, it's also going to mean that you're now going to get a nice bit of damage mitigation. Remember, you want everything hitting you as much as possible, so being as survivable and tanky as you can is going to be a massive bonus. The enhanced node is going to mean you get 20% extra life, which is great, but you're really going to want to hit up this last node, as the strategic challenging shout is going to mean that whilst this shout is active, you're going to gain thorns equal to 30% of your maximum life. So a great thing with builds like this will be to enhance your life as much as possible. Make sure you have a massive health pool, as that's only going to make things easier. Jumping over to the right, and 2 nodes you're going to want to invest in is going to be Outburst for the extra thorns, and Tough as Nails up to 9% if you put all 3 points in it, and when enemies hit you they take an additional 10% of your thorns as bleeding damage over 5 seconds. There's also an abundance of other stuff you can do in order to enhance this build, but I'm going to show you 3 aspects you may want to look at. First one is going to be Needle Flare aspect. Thorns damage dealt has a 20 to 40% chance to deal damage to all enemies around you. This one's going to be a kind of a no-brainer, you're definitely going to want this on. Death Wish aspect is going to give you a certain amount of thorns when berserking. And lastly, if you manage to pick up the unique chest later on, Razor Plate, this is going to give you a massive amount of thorns as standard in order to enhance the damage. Next up, and if you're missing healing or you're falling over a lot, this may be one that you want to look at, as you're going to be able to generate near infinite heals with this, and it'll be a lot of fun keeping your Barbarian alive in the trickiest situations. For this, you're going to want to grab up as many shouts as you can. Rallying Cry is a great one, as it's going to give you a bit of movement, and of course resource generation, as well as being able to give you Unstoppable, and either more resources or a little bit of Fortify. Again, Challenging Shout would be great to put in this as well, as it's going to give you a lot more mitigation. And if you want to take the enhanced nodes of any of these, you can. However, the main thing is just being able to generate the shouts more than anything else. Now jumping down to the booming voice, your shout skills effects duration are increased by 8, 16 or 24% depending on how many points you have to put in this, and then you're going to move across to Raid Leader, which is pretty much the main staple of this. Your shouts also heal allies for 3% of their maximum life per second. This includes you, and now every time you pop those shouts you're able to heal yourself and everyone around you. Also very helpful with this will be Guttural Yell. Your shout skills cause enemies to deal up to 12% less damage for 5 seconds. Remember, you can also pick up Warcry, so if you wanted to you could have 3 shouts on your bar, which would probably be the best for this, and then moving further down in the tree you're going to want to pick up Tempered Fury to move on to the next node, which is Invigorating Fury. Once it's maxed out, you're going to heal for up to 9% of your maximum life for each 100 Fury spent. Even without any aspects, this is very strong and will keep you alive in most situations, but when we start looking at the aspects, it becomes even more powerful. So Bold Chieftain's aspect, whenever you cast a shout skill, its cooldown is reduced by a set amount of seconds per nearby enemy, up to a maximum of 12 seconds. This one I can probably see being changed in the near future, as when you've got many shouts on your bar, it's going to mean you can pretty much keep them up non-stop, which again is now going to mean you've got perfect uptime with your healing. Aspect of the Crowded Sage, you heal for a set amount of life per second for each close enemy, up to 50 life a second. Now you've pretty much got 3 forms of healing going on, you're going to be ridiculously survivable, and then we're going to jump across the aspect of Echoing Fury. Your shout skills generate a set amount of fury per second whilst they're active. So now you're able to spam your skills a lot more than you were beforehand. You're going to be getting the benefits of using up more fury, hence getting more regeneration with your health, and just overall this is very nice if you're lacking in that survivability. Next up, and we're going to be looking at a way in order to generate a lot of fury as well as pretty much stay in permanent berserk mode. So one node you've got down in your weapon mastery is going to be hamstring. Your bleeding effect slow enemies for 10%. This does not sound like anything amazing, a lot of people will skip this, but in the right builds this can actually be pretty amazing. Now remember, you do want to be activating bleed. You've got a lot of skills that can manage this, whether it's the last node of your whirlwind or flay or possibly even rend. Or if you don't really like any of those skills and you want to put it on something else, you could also use this aspect right here. Whenever you deal direct damage whilst berserking, you're going to inflict 22 to 40% of the base damage, bleeding damage over 5 seconds. Then we're going to go back to hamstring, and with this a lot of people will put in either none because they don't think it sounds good, or they're putting 3. I would really say putting in just 1 for this is perfect. Then you can pick up a bit of extra damage at the last node, make your way up to Pit Fighter, which is going to give you a bit of close range damage again. But the main reason you'll be doing this will be to get to No Mercy. With 3 points in this, you're going to have up to 9% increased critical strike chance against immobilized, stunned or slowed enemies. Hamstring is pretty much going to mean everything is slowed for a set amount of time. It doesn't matter they're not slowed by that much, they're going to have the status, and now we've got 9% extra crit chance against everything we've applied that to. Now a few aspects that can really help you out with this as well will be Aspect of the Umbral, restore 1 to 4 of your primary resources when you crowd control an enemy. Relentless Berserker's Aspect, lucky hit damaging an enemy with a core skill has up to 22 to 40% chance to extend the duration of berserking by 1 second, or double this if it was a critical strike. And lastly, Aspect of the Dire Whirlwind. If you are going to be using Whirlwind, this one is definitely worth having on, as Whirlwind's critical strike chance is increased by 5 to 10% for each second it is channeled, up to 20 to 40%. No doubt in my mind you'll be able to achieve 100% uptime with Whirlwind in this game, and this will help towards that massively. Lastly, you will want something to generate Berserk in, or you could even go with just your standard attack and chuck in Combat Lunging Strike, where your critical strikes with Lunging Strike grant you Berserking for 1.5 seconds. If you activate Whirlwind straight after this, most of the time as long as you're in groups of enemies, it's going to kick off that Berserking, and you're going to be able to make your way through the packs with a massive amount of crit chance, Berserk, as well as generating a massive amount of fury. For anyone who loves getting around their dungeons fast, then these skills are going to be what you want to look at in order to become a true speed demon. So Rallying Cry is going to be a must, as this one is going to give you a 30% bonus to your movement straight away, and then you're going to move down your skill tree and you're going to want to put 3 points into your swiftness, allowing you to get 12% extra movement speed as standard. Down from here again, and the ultimate you're going to want to pick up is going to be the Wrath of the Berserker. As soon as you're able to chuck on that enhanced node, the Prime Wrath of the Berserker, now whilst you're in Berserker mode, you're going to gain 20% increased movement speed and increase fury generation by 30%. One thing you will probably want to do up unconstrained, as this is going to mean Berserker's maximum duration can be increased by 5 seconds and increases its damage bonus by 25%. Lastly, a couple of aspects that you may well want to look at. You're probably only going to pick one of these for your boot slot, but that's going to be the Wind Striker's Aspect, grant between 8 to 16% movement speed for 1 second up to 6 seconds. Or Ghost Walker Aspect, while unstoppable, and for 2 seconds after, you gain 10 to 25% increased movement speed and can move freely through enemies. All of this is going to make you very fast and allow you to get in and out of all of those tough situations. Last but definitely not least, if you're all about attack speed, then chucking some of these skills on can really be a lot of fun. For your basic attack, you are definitely going to want to pick up Frenzy. Frenzy is going to give you 20, 40, then 60% bonus attack speed, and its enhanced Frenzy, whilst Frenzy is granting 60% attack speed, it also generates an additional 2 Fury. If you want to be chucking some core skills in with this, then picking up Battle Frenzy will also be ideal. While you're berserking, your other skills gain 5% attack speed for each attack of Frenzy you have. You've also got a few other ways of generating a bit more attack speed, such as Rupture with its enhanced node, as well as the ultimate Call of the Ancients just down here, which is going to give you a massive burst of damage, but you're after the enhanced node, the Prime Call of the Ancients. Whilst Call of the Ancients is active, gain 10% bonus attack speed and 10% increased damage. As well as that, you're going to want to pick up the Duelist. Putting 3 points in this, your attack speed is now going to be plus 9% whilst using one-handed weapons, so now you're going to be hitting ridiculously fast, but we might as well chuck on some aspects that's going to make it even more powerful. Rapid Aspect, this one is going to mean your basic skills gain 23 to 33% attack speed. Then if you manage to pick up the unique amulet Battle Trance, increases Frenzy's maximum stacks by 2, whilst you have maximum Frenzy, your other skills gain plus 10 to 20% increase attack speed. So now your core, your basic, they're going to be doing some crazy fast damage, but we just need a way to ramp it up a little bit more because you're going to be using standard attacks quite a lot. With this is going to be the unique Doombringer, lucky hit up to 15 to 25% chance to deal a set amount of shadow damage to surrounding enemies and reduce their damage done to you by 20% for 3 seconds. This is going to be popping non-stop. It's going to be a lot of fun to see fun builds put together like this. The only thing we're missing will be Berserk, but like you've seen, there's quite a few different ways that you can generate that. Whether it be from your shouts, or another good one that probably fit into this build would be from your weapon mastery and using Steel Grasp. This, once it's upgraded, is going to allow you to get vulnerable on your enemies as well as make you Berserk, so it's very much a jack of all trades. But yeah, hopefully that's helped a few of you guys and girls out. There's going to be so many different combinations in this game that you can put together. These are just a few things you might want to look at, or a couple of the interactions to take away from in order to help you out as you progress through the game, or some of them, like the heals, may even be very handy at the end game. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what skill are you most looking forward to playing with the Barbarian class? There'll be a lot more content from me on the way. Take care, I'll see you on next day.